In a catastrophic turn of events, Hurricane Melissa, a Category 5 monster, made landfall in Jamaica on Tuesday, October 28, 2025, unleashing the full fury of nature with sustained winds of up to 185 miles per hour, 298 kilometers per hour, torrential rains, and a storm surge that swallowed entire coastal communities. As the strongest Atlantic hurricane of the year and one of the most powerful ever recorded in the region, Melissa has left behind a transformed landscape, a humanitarian crisis, and urgent calls for international aid. Meteorologists had been tracking Hurricane Melissa for days as it churned across the Caribbean, intensifying rapidly over warm waters. By the time it reached Jamaica's southern coast near St. Elizabeth Parish, it had reached peak strength. The National Hurricane Center issued dire warnings. This is an extremely dangerous and life-threatening situation. Take cover now. Melissa's eyewall tore across the island from south to north, exiting near St. and Parish. The storm's core brought catastrophic winds, flash flooding, and landslides, with rainfall totals exceeding 20 inches, 500 millimeters, in some areas. The southern coastline experienced a storm surge of up to 15 feet, 4.5 meters, inundating low-lying towns and severing access to key infrastructure. Preliminary reports confirm at least 7 fatalities across the Caribbean, including 3 in Jamaica, 3 in Haiti, and 1 in the Dominican Republic. Dozens more are missing, and the number is expected to rise as search and rescue operations continue. The Red Cross estimates that up to 1.5 million people in Jamaica may be directly affected. Entire neighborhoods in Kingston, Montego Bay, and Mandeville have been left without power, clean water, or communication. Hospitals are overwhelmed, and emergency shelters are at capacity. Roads are impassable due to debris, downed trees, and collapsed bridges. The Norman Manley International Airport remains closed, and the island's power grid is severely compromised. Jamaican Prime Minister Andrew Holness addressed the nation in a televised emergency briefing, calling Hurricane Melissa a national catastrophe of historic proportions. He urged citizens to remain calm and follow official guidance, while appealing to the international community for every helping hand to support recovery and rebuilding efforts. The Jamaican Defense Force has been deployed to assist with evacuations, distribute aid, and maintain order. International humanitarian organizations, including the UN and Red Cross, are mobilizing resources, but access remains a challenge due to damaged ports and airfields. While Jamaica bore the brunt of the storm, neighboring countries are also reeling. Southwestern Haiti and southern Dominican Republic are experiencing catastrophic flash flooding and landslides. Emergency alerts remain in effect across the northern Caribbean as Melissa continues its path northeastward, threatening the Bahamas and potentially parts of the southeastern United States later this week. Meteorologists warn that although Melissa may weaken slightly over the next 48 hours, it will remain a dangerous system capable of producing widespread damage. Coastal residents in the Bahamas are being urged to evacuate low-lying areas immediately. Experts are calling Hurricane Melissa a textbook example of rapid intensification, a phenomenon where a storm's wind speed increases dramatically in a short period, often fueled by unusually warm ocean temperatures. According to AccuWeather meteorologist Alex Da Silva, Melissa could reshape Jamaica's coastline and change the way of life there for years to come. Climate scientists note that while hurricanes are natural phenomena, the increasing frequency of high-intensity storms is consistent with projections linked to global warming. Warmer seas and shifting atmospheric patterns are creating conditions more conducive to supercharged storms like Melissa. In the town of Black River, residents formed human chains to rescue neighbors trapped in rising floodwaters. In Kingston, a group of university students converted their dormitory into a makeshift shelter for displaced families. Across the island, Jamaicans are banding together, sharing food, water, and hope. International solidarity is also growing. Relief flights from Canada, the UK, and the United States are being prepared. Caribbean nations including Trinidad and Tobago, Barbados, and the Bahamas have pledged support. Social media campaigns under the hashtag Help Jamaica are raising funds and awareness globally.
The leaves are starting to come off of the trees.
The full scale of Hurricane Melissa's impact is only beginning to emerge. Damage assessments are underway, but early estimates suggest billions of dollars in losses. The road to recovery will be long and arduous, requiring not just rebuilding but rethinking infrastructure, emergency preparedness, and climate resilience. Jamaica's experience with Melissa may serve as a wake-up call for the region and the world. As Prime Minister Holness stated, we must not only rebuild, we must build back better, stronger, and smarter. The U.S. State Department is encouraging American citizens in the path of Hurricane Melissa to leave if possible or prepare to shelter in place. If you're in an area projected to be in the storm's path, depart ASAP if still possible, the State Department said in a message posted to X. Americans who decide to remain should make preparations to shelter in place. Authorities in eastern Cuba are preparing to evacuate more than 200,000 people from the province of Holguín, according to the Associated Press. A similar number has already been evacuated from the town of Baines, the AP reported. The National Hurricane Center expects the Category 5 storm to weaken as it crosses Jamaica's mountainous terrain, but it will likely remain a major hurricane, Category 3 or above, when it reaches Cuba on Wednesday. This phenomenon is very dangerous, Eduardo Martinez, Cuba's deputy prime minister, said in a statement. Meanwhile, a day after a NOAA aircraft investigating Melissa had to abandon its mission due to severe turbulence, another so-called Hurricane Hunter has retreated. In a post on X, the U.S. Air Force Reserve's 53rd Weather Reconnaissance Squadron said that it encountered heavy turbulence while flying into the eye of Hurricane Melissa. During the event, the aircraft briefly experienced forces stronger than normal. The post said, adding that standard safety procedures require an inspection before the operation can continue. On Monday, the aircraft was able to capture stunning video footage from inside Melissa's eye wall. Desmond McKenzie, Jamaica's Minister of Local Government and Community Development, issued a dire warning to the island's 2.8 million residents to seek shelter. Jamaica, this is not the time to be brave, McKenzie said. Don't bet against Melissa. It is a bet we can't win. McKenzie, who has been coordinating evacuations, said just 133 of Jamaica's 800-plus emergency shelters were occupied, suggesting many people had chosen to ride out the Category 5 storm. He urged those in flood-prone areas who could make it safely to higher ground to do so. There is still a small window of opportunity, McKenzie said. Let us see if we can use it wisely. There were widespread reports of internet outages across Jamaica as Hurricane Melissa approached the island earlier today, according to the internet watchdog NetBlocks. The outages were reported as winds brought down power lines, the watchdog said on X. The parish of Hanover in the northwest of the island had only 2% network connectivity at around 11:20 a.m. local time, 12:20 p.m. Eastern Time, NetBlocks said. Other regions had connectivity rates between 53% and 86%. It added.
Thanks, guys.
Damage to other infrastructure across Jamaica is also being reported. Bridges and roads across the country have flooded, including some of the primary roads accessing remote areas, Jamaica's National Works Agency said in various posts on social media. Jamaican officials are warning residents about another hazard amid dangerous weather conditions from Hurricane Melissa: crocodiles. The heavy rains and flooding associated with the storm may result in crocodiles being displaced from their natural habitats. The Southeast Regional Health Authority, part of the country's Ministry of Health, said in a statement today. People living near those areas should remain vigilant for the unsuspecting wildlife and avoid floodwaters. Specifically, officials said residents in Kingston, St. Andrew, St. Catherine, and St. Thomas should exercise extreme caution. Keep children and pets away from floodwaters or areas where crocodiles have been sighted, the statement said. Meanwhile, those in Kingston are close to the hurricane's path, but are fortunately not facing the most severe effects now that Hurricane Melissa has made landfall on the opposite side of the island. Officials still urged residents in Kingston to hunker down as they are facing storm-force winds and the threat of dangerous storm surge. Conditions in Kingston are still very scary despite how far away the city is from the eye of the storm. Some Jamaicans initially hoped that Melissa might move to avoid a direct hit, but many now fear that the storm could rip the island apart. The United Nations said it was coordinating a sea lift operation to Jamaica from Barbados, where it had pre-positioned supplies ahead of the hurricane season. The airports were shut on the island as the storm approached, but the UN said that more than 2,000 kits would be airlifted into the country when airports reopened. The UN spokesman, Stephen Dujarric, said additional relief stocks were available at a UN humanitarian depot in Panama. The UN's humanitarian agency also deployed additional staff members to Cuba to support the local operation, work with the government, and prepare shelter for the relocation of 500,000 people to safer grounds, Dujarric said. In Haiti, the UN's migration agency was preparing 100 shelters, and the World Food Program has pre-positioned more than 800 metric tons of food to assist 86,000 people in Haiti for the next 2 weeks. A university lecturer in Kingston, Jamaica, says the wind is now picking up near his home, where he is staying with his wife and 3 children.
Bridge.
It has been raining and windy in some areas, with the occasional lull. Louis Ray Harris, a senior lecturer in the Department of Physics at the University of the West Indies, tells me.
At the moment.
We just lost power and the wind has picked up significantly. Dave Griffiths, who works in HR and lives in Gloucester, is visiting Jamaica with his wife and children. The group are in lockdown at their hotel in Lucia, on the island's northwest side, and they expect to stay there for the rest of the day. Griffiths says he's wide awake listening to the storm strengthening outside the windows of my hotel room, adding that he's lucky to feel safe and secure there. Looking ahead, he says his biggest concern is the devastation that's predicted to happen across Jamaica in the coming hours. I feel so sad for the people that live here. We've had a disrupted holiday only, Griffiths says. Their lives are likely to literally be turned upside down. For Jamaicans, the comparisons with past storms are chilling. Gilbert in 1988, the last direct hit, was a Category 3. It destroyed thousands of homes and killed 49 people. Dean in 2007 and Beryl in 2024 came close, but neither matched Melissa's raw power. Globally, Melissa ranks among the most powerful cyclones ever observed, just behind Mexico's Hurricane Patricia in 2015 and the record-holding Typhoon Tip of 1979. Earlier today, the storm had an air pressure in its center of 901 millibars (MB), just ahead of Hurricane Katrina, which reached 902 MB. Katrina, which hit New Orleans in 2005, killed 1,392 people and caused damage estimated at $125 billion, 94 billion pounds. Melissa has set itself apart for how quickly it grew. The storm intensified from a tropical system to a Category 5 hurricane in just a day, fueled by exceptionally warm waters in the Caribbean, as my colleague explained a bit earlier, around 2 to 3 degrees above normal. Shaquille Clark, who works at a hotel in Negril, on the west of the island, says the winds are picking up where he is and the ocean is getting rough. Trees are starting to fall, he says, adding, I am concerned for people who are not moved to a safe space. Clark says he's feeling a little worried, but he's also been through a few hurricanes before. I'm just hoping for the best, he says. I have spoken by phone to Kabian, who runs a beauty salon in Santa Cruz in St. Elizabeth, where Hurricane Melissa is expected to make landfall and residents have been warned to take shelter. But she tells me she cannot make it to a shelter because it is too far away and she feels now it is too dangerous to leave the house. As we spoke, I could hear the wind in the background and the panic in her voice. There is water coming in through the roof of my house, she says. I am not okay. She is home with her husband and 3 young children, all of whom are very, very scared. The doors are being blown off by the wind. I am trying to use my own manpower to stop the wind blowing in the door. The wind is pushing the front door open. Colin Bogle, a Mercy Corps advisor based near Kingston, told the AP that most families were sheltering in place despite government-ordered evacuations in flood-prone communities. Bogle said he was sheltering with his grandmother in Portmore, where everything went dark earlier in the morning after a loud explosion. More than 240,000 customers in Jamaica were without power before landfall, and about a quarter of the country's telecommunications system was offline, Daryl Vaz, the Transport and Energy Minister, said. He said he hoped Jamaica's 2 international airports, in Kingston and Montego Bay, could be open as early as Thursday to receive emergency relief flights.
Look down here right now, brothers. You see it? Y'all run 3 cars out of the yard already.